ईश्वरं सुता श्रीमन् पूर्वा सन्ध्या प्रवर्तते उत्तिष्ठ सत्यसाईश कर्तव्यं देवामानिकम्.
So when I was joking with Pete at the end of last week about the baseball thing. Well, it wasn't directed toward Pete, but but he got it when I was saying this. When this quote kind of came to me, that was the first visual I had. I was like, if we turn that into an image with a quote on it, I could actually see like a stadium of people. And our idea around, sports, the whole thing around competition and how we take sides, right? How we choose a team and then align ourselves with that team is an interesting kind of phenomenon for the ego, because it just completely holds separation in place so well. But if we look at, we'll just say baseball. Is there any problem? And I wanted us to look at this from the space of like being a seeker, because so many people, when they get engaged in their spiritual path, because there are so many concepts floating around, really struggle with like, oh, I have to give this up and I have to give this up and this isn't okay anymore. I can't, secular music, like I can't listen to heavy metal, or I can't, like whatever it is, all these things that were, they aren't spiritual, so I have to drop them. And I think it's a shame that, we kind of put that on people collectively, that there's like a proper spiritual way to be in the world and an improper, unspiritual way to be in the world, when everything is of spirit, therefore spiritual. So seeing like a stadium of people, and is it a bad thing to say, I love baseball, right? No, I mean, why would it? If you find it thrilling to either play the actual sport or to watch the sport and appreciate the athleticism of the people who are playing, is there anything wrong with that? Well, of course not. I mean, if it fills you with joy to watch the sport being played, then beautiful. That's beautiful. So where is it that it actually is a problem from the space of dissolution work, right? We're always kind of looking at it from that place. And it only becomes a problem when we recognize the ego's pride in it. It's the pride in the alignment, right, with the team. So I'm a Red Sox fan and I hate the Yankees, right? And if I'm a Red Sox fan and they're playing the Yankees and the Red Sox play poorly, I'm going to work really hard to come up with some kind of justifier for why the Red Sox had a bad night. And it was, if such and such hadn't happened, they would have won. Or the Yankees only won because they got lucky because such and such, or right. Like that comes from a prideful place. It comes from the space of where I have aligned myself is right and where you are aligned is wrong. And because you actually ended up on the quote unquote winning side of this, it challenges my belief that I'm right. Oh my God, like what if they actually aren't the better team? and the other team actually did win. So it seems like some kind of proof that at least tonight they weren't the better team. But how many, like hardcore sports fans would say to the fan on the other side, yeah, you're right. Your team definitely had the better night tonight, right? It takes humility to do that, doesn't it? Which is not something we see in a lot of like really diehard sports fans. And it's kind of sad because we're taught that from the time we're pretty young and start competing, right? Like it's all about the win, and they try to tell you that good sportsmanship is important, but yet what do they model to us, as we're children and we're watching the modeling coming from the adults? And what do we see from the adults? We see them, painting their faces and wearing big blocks of cheese on their head and like going to these sporting events and acting crazy, all right, and getting in fist fights with players from, or not players, but the fans from the other team, and just all of the craziness that goes with being a big time sports fan. And so like what we learn is not what they're telling us, it's what they're showing us, right? And isn't that the truth, right? Don't do what I don't do what I show you, do what I tell you, because chances are what I tell you is the actual accurate thing, and what I'm showing you is probably not good. So that's like where this was coming from. Where is it that we get stuck because we're prideful in somehow wherever we have aligned ourselves, and we lose the ability to be humble, right? We'll lose the ability to be objective. And that's the issue when it comes to your dissolution work, right? You have to be able to be objective. And the hardest thing is that it's challenging to be objective when you can't even see where it is that you're attached, right? So it's part of the ongoing work, because there's so much around us where we have attachments that we literally can't even see, because they're so much a part of how we've been conditioned and how we function for so long, that they're literally running completely under our conscious radar. And it takes time and consistent effort to find all of those things.